just a couple blocks from here. It's an interstate highway called I-375. I-375 is a 1 mile stretch of road that was built in June 12, 1964, connecting Jefferson Avenue and I-75. Some of you may have taken it today to get here. If you did, you would have noticed just how short it is. Here's the thing. I-375 is one of the shortest highways in the country, 1.062 miles to be exact. Many Detroiters call it the mile to nowhere. But for a long time, it has been the shortest highway. But there are some shorter, one in New York, one in Montana, and one in Texas. But when considering to build I-375, in the late 1950s, the area that needed to be demolished in question was full of pedestrians. It's full of thriving businesses and residents. That area in question was just outside these doors. It was a lively and bustling area called Paradise Valley. Some of you may have heard of it, but the residents there would say that it rivaled that of Harlem in New York City. You may think that I'm a historian, but no, that's not true, although sometimes I play one on TV. What I am is a construction professional, and every family has at least one. Don't believe me? Study in 2019 determined that 1 out of every 20 U.S. citizens was a construction professional. Think about it. You really do know someone in construction. Well, you used to. In Q2 of this year, it was determined that construction had identified a labor shortage of 650,000 people. It's not just your grocery bills that are skyrocketing. The cost of construction materials has gone through the roof. And considering the state of U.S. infrastructure, probably need to be repaired as well. Now, back to the interstate highway. The year is April 2013. Michigan Department of Transportation decides to do a case study to determine I-375 should continue to be maintained or demolished and backfilled, where it will make room for new businesses, residents, and thriving developers. Sounds familiar. Well, the study did its job. September of this year, the president had determined that Michigan will be awarded $105 million to reconstruct I-375, filling the ditch that had displaced so many residents of Paradise Valley. Construction begins 2025, hopefully. So, now I want to get to why I'm here. STEM. For those that don't know, STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. The great thing about STEM and the great thing about construction is that no matter what you do, who you are, it impacts your life. I'll give you an example. When you came here today, I'm sure and hopeful that many of you took a bath or a shower. When you turn that faucet on, understand that design, engineered, was constructed using STEM principles. More importantly, there are places in this world, places in this country, more specifically places in this state where their water needs to be redesigned using STEM. And that is just the tip of the iceberg. If you Google U.S. infrastructure, what you'll find is so many stories about the poor condition ours is in. In fact, some people go on to say that our infrastructure is a national security issue. Imagine that. The infrastructure, the roads, the highways, the bridges we go across have been deemed a national security issue. Talk about job security. Our country needs you, no more now than ever before. Usually in construction, we spend a lot of time talking about science, math, and engineering. And if you take the day-to-day operations of a civil engineer, you'd understand that makes perfect sense. Civil engineers design things using math, science all the time. But what we have not spent a lot of time talking about is technology. What I like to do is reimagine what the word civil technologist means. Over the past decades, there's been so many breakthroughs on the technology front in civil infrastructure. You may have heard of them, some of them, BIM, building information models, or augmented reality, and these all have very good applications when it comes to construction. The one I want to talk about today is workflow automation. You may ask what that means. Workflow automation simply means taking your day-to-day job activities, using data, using technology, and pre-designed business rules, streamlining that process. In essence, it means doing more with less. And when you think about an area in which 54% of baby boomers are retiring in an industry, it's more important now than ever to use that to close the gap in construction. Now, we can all understand that construction may not just be for you. You may say, this is somebody else's problem. Well, let me give you an example. Imagine that you go into a room, you turn on the light, and the light switch doesn't work. You turn on a faucet, and no water runs. You go down a road, and it dead ends. This may seem like a bad movie, may seem like an awful script, but in some instances, it can become reality. And in fact, that reality can become a documentary if we don't stop it. In summary, it's very important that the STEM of our generation, and they become leaders, really emphasize the importance of going back into construction, building our infrastructure in a way that's not only sustainable for us to grow, not only sustainable for us to lead, but encourages our youth and our older generation to come back and leverage the gap that was open. With that, thank you.